Hello and welcome. My name is Tiffany Grove, and we're going to go over a simple meditation today so you can find a nice, comfortable seated position wherever you may be. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then you can start to release, feeling the shoulder blades slide down the back. So just notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness. Maybe in the shoulders, the neck, the back. We're going to take a few deep belly breaths here, releasing and letting go. So deepening those inhalations versus those exhalations. Sending the breath to any tighter tension spots you might be holding on to. So again, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, release. If you notice that you're holding on to the breath, you can always do a 2-1 part breath. So you're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. In through the nose, and exhale out the mouth. So those are your two options, taking a nice deep breath in, and exhale, release. Or you can start to find your 2-1 part breath, taking a nice deep breath in, inhale in, and exhale, release. Doing a full body scan here, noticing if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness. Starting at the crown of the head, noticing if you're holding on to anything in between the eyebrows. Take a few deep breaths, sending it to those places. Expanding, releasing, and letting go with each breath. Just noticing here. So notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness in the shoulders, in the mouth, in the jaw. Again, sending any breath to those tight or tension spots. Taking nice, full, deep belly breaths here. Releasing and letting go. So again, notice if you're holding on to anything in the throat area. If you're closed off here, taking a few deep belly breaths. Expanding. Releasing, letting it go. And then start to notice, are you holding on to anything in the chest? Maybe in the heart? A lot of the times we roll our shoulders forward, so moving them up, back, and down. Taking a few deep breaths in the chest, in the heart. Again, expanding here with your deep inhalations versus exhalations. Or you can do your 2-1 part breath. Opening and expanding here. Releasing and letting go. So notice if you're holding on to anything in the shoulders, maybe the upper back. Start to feel those shoulder blades slide down the back and send the breath to any tighter tension spots that you're holding on to here. Deepening the breath, releasing and letting go. So noticing if you're holding on to anything in the belly. A lot of the times we have gut issues. We have things that are going on. So just breathing into that space, releasing, letting go, softening. Again, deepening those inhalations versus the exhalations, or doing your 2-1 part breath. Well, notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness in the hips. Breathing into that space, releasing and letting go. A lot of us hold a lot of tension here, connected to our root chakra. It has a lot to do with family relations. So just noticing if anything starts to pop up. Send the breath to those tighter tension spots. Release it, let it go. So notice if you're holding on to anything in the thighs and the legs. Breathe into that space. Open and expand. So notice if you're holding on to anything in the kneecaps and the shins. Breathe here. Release, let it go. And then noticing if you're holding on to anything in the feet. A lot of the times we have issues with the bottom of the feet, the arch of the feet. So noticing if you're holding on there. Release it, let it go. So again, just notice if you're holding on. Notice where that space is. And without any judgment, we're going to take 10 deep belly breaths, filling the whole entire body, sending it to any tighter tension spots you might have. So take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, release, let it go. Again, deepening those inhalations versus the exhalations. Feeling the chest rise, the belly rise. Breathe here. Expanding with each breath. Release it, let it go. So again, deepening those inhalations versus those exhalations. Or if you're coming into your 2-1 part breath, you're taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. In through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Just feeling the calming effect of your breath. Noticing, releasing, and letting go. So throughout your practice, I want you to notice where your mind starts to go. If you have a story, a pattern, a habit that you go to, and without judgment, just take a nice deep breath in. And recognize that it's just a story, that it's just a pattern, or it's just a habit. Breathe here, releasing those thoughts, letting it go. So softening. Focusing on those deep breaths. So throughout your practice, if you want to start to constrict the back of the throat, you can constrict the back of the throat, creating a little heat in the body. Breathing here. And then also focusing on that breath, letting it ground you throughout your practice. Breathe here into this space, think about releasing, letting it go. So I want you to think about what your story, what your pattern or habit was. And again, without any judgment, we're just holding that as what it is. Breathe into it. And from here, we're going to start to visualize what our perfect day would be like. Where is your happy place? And it's okay if it doesn't come to mind right away. You can generalize it. What makes you happy? What makes you filled with joy? Maybe it's being exactly where you are right now. And we're just going to picture that in the mind. Be with the breath. Start to release and let it go. So with this thought, with what makes you happy, with where your happy place is, I want you to start to feel what your body would feel like being here. Are you happy? Are you filled with joy? And what does that feel like in your body? Start to really feel it. And again, it's okay if it doesn't come right away. Come into a generalization of what that would feel like. Do you feel carefree? Are you smiling? Maybe put a little smile on your face. What does your posture look like? Do your shoulder blades slide down the back? Is your heart open? Start to feel what that would feel like in the body. Releasing and letting go with each breath. Beautiful. So start to notice your breath. So your posture, your breath, what does it feel like in the body? And then start to notice things outside of you. Who are you with? What kind of company are you keeping around you? And just think about what it feels like to be around this person, or these people, or this situation. Feel the joy, maybe smile a little bit. What does it feel like in your body? And then start to come back to the breath. So a lot of the times what happens is when we have anxiety or we're stressed or we're panicked, our breath becomes very short. It only goes into the neck and a little bit of the throat. And we don't take deep inhalations and exhalations. We don't take full deep belly breaths. So I want you to feel what your breath feels like when you're really happy, when you're in this present moment. Is it deep? Is it calm? Start to feel that. Feel it in the body. And know that once you start to manifest it in the body, it becomes a lot easier to feel it in the world. Having faith in what you want and what you believe. So breathing into this. And then start to notice, what are the sounds around you? Depending on where you are. And then start to hear them. Be with the breath. Release, let it go. Start to notice the smells around you. What do you smell? What do you hear? Start to see what's around you. What do you see and who are you with? Feel it in the body. See it in the mind. Come back to it with the breath. Notice. What are you doing? So notice the activities you're doing. How does that make you feel? Maybe you're experiencing some food. Maybe there is a taste that is associated with it. So noticing these senses, tuning into our 5 senses and really being able to feel in our body before we manifest it in the outside world what it is that makes us happy, and knowing it, owning it, breathing into it, and then feeling it in the body. Coming back to it with the breath. So start to ground the feet into the earth here. Feeling all 4 corners of the feet. You can lift up on all 10 toes if that feels good. And then just starting to feel, knowing that you're supported, that you're grounded. Breathe here into this space. Well, let's take the right hand to the heart, left hand to the belly. Grounding the feet down into the earth. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back. And just start to come back to that visualization. Start to feel it in the body. Feel it in the breath. Taking deep inhalations versus exhalations. Releasing and letting go. So you can drop those hands by the side if it feels good. Again, still grounding the feet into the earth. Take a deep breath in. We're going to ground the pelvic bone into the chair, feeling the shoulder blades slide down the back. If it feels good, you can bring your palms face up as your willingness to receive what God has to give you. Breathe into this space. Release it, let it go. So notice your breath. Again, sometimes it becomes shallow where we only breathe in our neck and our throat. That is okay. Be aware of it. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Fill the whole entire body. Feel it go through the head, out the toes. Breathe into this space. Release, let it go. So notice your posture here. You're grounding in the feet, lifting up on the pelvic bone, lifting up on the abdominal. Nice, straight, flat spine. Shoulder blades slide down. Feel those shoulder blades roll back. Start to soften the jaw, soften the forehead, and come back to that breath. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release, let it go. Grounding yourself here, we're going to take 10 deep belly breaths. Fullest expression that you have had all day. Grounding yourself here. Release into that space. So again, Again, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release out the mouth. If you want to take a 2-1 part breath, you're going to inhale in. Inhale in. Exhale. Let it go. Come back to that visualization. Back to that story. Release it, let it go. Breathe here into this space. So a lot of the times what happens is our bodies start to tense up. We hold on to tension, we hold on to tightness in different areas for various reasons. Some of it is a physical reason. Most of the time, though, there is an underlying emotional reason behind it. So noticing if you start to clench up somewhere. Maybe it's in the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. Maybe it's in the abdominal or the lower back. But wherever it is, without judgment, we're just going to take a few breaths here, sending it to those tighter tension spots. Knowing that the breath can be healing. Positive intentions are healing. Faith is healing. So breathe here. Giving that space a little love, a little breath, a little attention. And then noticing what starts to pop up. Because things will pop up. Especially when we're close to where we need to be. Our stories, our habits. Maybe it's a self-sabotaging story. Whatever it may be, notice it for what it is. Start to understand it for what it is. Maybe where it comes from. And then just start to soften with it. Breathing here into this space, releasing and letting go. So I want us to take everything we've learned today and put it together. Notice your breath. The number one important thing is our breath work. So taking nice deep inhalations versus exhalations. Breathing deep into our belly, deep into our body. Noticing that our mind holds on to stories, patterns, and habits. And they're just that. They're stories, patterns, and habits. They're not who we are. They're not a reflection of self. So noticing them. And then noticing how we hold that in our body. Recognizing it for that. Realizing that the body manifests illnesses, and it also has tightness and tension. And this is just to teach us so we can understand what the lesson is underneath. So understanding that, breathing into this space. Then knowing you have control over your reality with your visualization. So knowing at any point in time, if you decide to sit exactly where you are, you have control over your mind, your body, your breath. And if you take this control enough, you can start to change the body, change the mind with the breath. So taking that all together, come back to your breath work. Release any tight or tension spot that you're holding on to. Breathe into that space. Take 10 deep belly breaths here. Expanding, releasing, letting go, knowing the power in your breath, knowing the power in your body. Coming back to that in the mind, coming back to that with your visualization. Deepening the breath, releasing and letting go. We're going to end out this class with 10 deep belly breaths. Fullest expression you've had all day. As if you're filling the top of your head all the way down to your feet. Feeling all the energy throughout the body. Noticing how amazing the body truly is. Breathe here. Expand, release, let it go. Again, deep those inhalations versus those exhalations. We're all going to bring our hands to heart center. Just bringing in the mind, our visualization, what makes us happy. I'd like to thank you for being here with me today. The divine in me sees the divine in you. Namaste. Again, my name is Tiffany Grove. If you want more information, you can always find me on the Wellness Grove, and you can follow the link below. Thank you.
Going to the coffee shop per week per family is at least $72 to $85 a week. Therapy is $100 to $250 per week or per appointment. Dinner out is $65 to $110, and that doesn't even include the alcohol. Theater for entertainment, 2 people, $80 to $132, and that does not include the cost of dinner before. First Unity, a place, a beacon, a lighthouse, the heart of this city and the heart of this nation and of this country and of this world, teaching people to awaken and live their empowered and amazing selves. First Unity, that gives you food, spiritual food, that can transform you from the place you are to the place you long to be. First Unity, the teachings and the tools that allow you to let go of addictions and habits and things that are in your way, so you may be free, so you may fly, so you may live boldly and brave and loving right from the core of your heart. What is the value that you place upon such a place?